For over 300 years, Berry Brothers and Rudd have operated from the same shop in the heart of central London. But the business has moved forward. It's now recognised as one of the most innovative wine companies around. With me is Chairman Simon Berry. Simon, throughout the ages, how has the company managed to stay at the forefront of technology?
Well, I think even if you go back to 1698 when we were founded, we really have kept going by never stopping changing. I mean, we sold in 1698 the most expensive drinks of their day, but that was tea and coffee. It wasn't wine at all. And the only records that we have of us beginning to sell wine don't happen for 100 years later, until my family, who were wine merchants in Exeter, married into the family here at 3 St James's Street and brought with them their business of selling wine. But essentially, just because we're old doesn't mean to say that we're dinosaurs. I think that if you look at the most successful, long-lasting companies of all, they've all adapted to the times and continued to change. Whether you're talking about selling the new fashionable drinks of wine, or indeed embracing the internet, or selling in airports, or any of the other innovations that we've come up with in the last few years.
Now, it's very important to Berry Brothers that it is a family-run business. Does that give you an advantage over your rivals in that you can offer perhaps a more personal service to the customer?
Well, I think we can certainly offer a more personal service to the customer. We appreciate as a family business that service is what it's all about. And we can also afford to take the long-term view. One of the things about the wine trade is that it's all about the long-term view. If you're growing wine or if you're shipping wine, you can't expect to simply look at the next quarter's results and base your business on that. You have to look at least a year, and probably more like 5, 10, 15, 50 years in advance. And I think that being a family business in the wine trade keeps us in tune with the way the whole trade works.
Now, it's a great experience to come into a wonderful old shop like this and perhaps browse around and buy a bottle of wine. But there's a lot more to the service that you can offer to the customer here than just a retail outlet, isn't there?
Absolutely. We're not just about buying bottles of wine off shelves at all. It's in some ways an entire experience. You can come here, you can have dinner here, you can come to a wine school here, you can have a tasting. There are all sorts of advantages that we can add on top of that. And of course, the total service includes being able to look after a wine cellar, advice on wine investment, the ability to be able to plan what wine you drink in the future. It's also quite important, I think, to have a service which recognises that one of the few disadvantages of wine is that perhaps it's not very good for the memory. We get an awful lot of customers who will say to us, "I love that wine that I drank last week, but I'm not quite sure what it was." And I know my own memory is going, so I'm entirely in sympathy with people like this. But one of the bits of technology, this is an illustration that we've got now, is that anybody who's bought wine from us as an account customer can log on to our website, and the website remembers for you what the wines were that you've drunk before and recommends what you should be drinking if you enjoyed this.
Where do you see the company going from now? What's its future?
Well, I think that in some ways the sky's the limit. More and more people are discovering the joys of drinking wine, not just in the UK but throughout the world. And more people are discovering that actually wine's not just about a beverage that you drink. It's about the enjoyment of learning about it, and it's about the enjoyment of experiencing it with friends or with the people who make the wine. An ancestor of mine, Charles Walter Berry, once said that the function of a wine merchant was to be the closest link between the people who drink the wine and the people who make the wine. And I think that if we can stay close to that ideal, but at the same time look at new methods of doing it, then we would have succeeded.